Okay, I think it's time to start. Hi, how are you? All good? Did you have breakfast, coffee, tea? Coffee, nice. All right, I see some more people are coming. Take a seat, don't be shy. There are seats there, I think. All right. So, first of all, welcome to my session. When you think there is no time for learning or coding, I feel it's quite relatable. My name is Eleftheria Batsou. I'm coming from Greece. I'm working as a community manager at Hashnot. Do you know Hashnot? Hands, maybe? Okay, yeah, there are a few people, but not a lot. Okay, Hashnot is a blogging platform. Just like Medium or Dev2, but don't say that, we are better. Anyway, and my background is on coding, on front-end development and app development, no backend, and lately I'm very interested also in content creation, which means I write articles, I create like some YouTube videos and stuff like that. And I like networking, talking with people, seeing what their passions, and I'm trying to be helpful and stuff like that. If you want to find me, you can see the social media, you can send me an email. I'm very active on Twitter, so I think that this is the best way if you want to catch up with me. But feel free to do whatever you prefer. Today, we are going to talk about my coding journey, how I started, and what I did to help me to move on. And then we will continue to habit formation, why you should build a habit, what's the positive things of building a habit. And last but not least, we will talk about dealing with stress, dealing with frustration, dealing with yourself, dealing with the work, and stuff like that. So let's start my coding journey. I graduated from an engineering university, which means that I did a lot of maths, a lot of physics, a lot of electronics, but not so much of coding. And then I did an internship, and in that internship I started realizing that I do like coding and I want to code, but I don't have the knowledge. I did another internship, this time in the Netherlands. As I said, I'm from Greece, so I moved for a few months in the Netherlands to do another internship, and then I realized that I didn't know anything. I just know some HTML, and I thought that I was a coder. I started looking for jobs because after that internship, I was supposed to find a job, and again, I realized I don't know anything. But every morning back then and still now, I like to read. And as I was reading, I found an article. It was from the creator of the challenge 100 Days of Code, Alexander Calway. Does any of you know the challenge 100 Days of Code? Okay, I see a few people. Nice, that's good. And I said, okay, I'm going to take part in this challenge. Now, in this challenge, you got a code for 100 days straight, maybe just for 1 hour, and everything that you do, you upload them on GitHub. For me, that was super, because I wasn't coding that much, even at my internship. I wasn't using GitHub. We were using Perforce. Do you guys know Perforce? Anyone? Okay, yeah, it's a bit old, so nowadays I don't think that people still use it. So we were using Perforce. It's something that people used to use instead of Git. And yeah, I did that. I started coding every day and learning a few things. Another part of the challenge was to go on Twitter for 100 days and tweeting that day 1 I did that, day 2 I did that, day 3 I did that, and also encouraging other people to take part on the challenge or giving them feedback or trying to be helpful. So I did that as well. At first I wasn't using Twitter at all, so it was very challenging for me also to go on Twitter and start commenting on other people, hey, your code looks good, no, it doesn't look good. And also like getting comments on, you did that well, you didn't do that very well, you can improve yourself there. But it was like my very first steps into coding, so everything was a bit terrifying for me. Okay, now what do I code? What did I wanted to do? Because I got this question as I was doing this journey. So for me, there are many sources if you want to learn, and these sources can be for everyone. It doesn't matter where you are, if you are a beginner, more advanced, there is always something that I'm pretty sure you want to learn in whatever stage you are in your career. So there are, of course, online educational platforms. We all know them: Udemy, Udacity, YouTube, like whatever. There are online communities like Discord, Slack channels, and everything around there. So don't be afraid to go there and start talking. There are also other coding challenges. As I mentioned, I was doing the 100 days of code, but it's not only that. There is 50 days, 50 sides. There are daily CSS images. There are many of them. And in some of those challenges, they are sending you an email with something to read or something to code. So if you don't have like any idea of what you want to build, you can take part in these challenges, and this problem is going to be solved. And of course, there are magazines and books. I think that books usually, more advanced people prefer that, but I think that it's a good source for everyone. And from the other hand, if you're looking for inspiration, like what to do, what to build, again, read blogs, follow your favorite developers on, I don't know, different publications or on Twitter or like whatever. Just see what they are doing and see if you can recreate something. I don't say copy, but maybe recreate something. And of course, like go to meetups and attend to conferences. I'm pretty sure that you are already doing that since you are here in this conference. Okay, so what did I learn? Again, we are talking about my very, very first steps. So my first goal was to be a rock star in HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I was saying that everywhere, that you have to be a rock star. So I needed to be a rock star. Then I needed to learn Git, GitHub, or something similar, because as I said, we weren't using those platforms. And then I thought to learn, of course, the Chrome developer tools, because I think everyone using them. But for me, it was just a black screen. I couldn't realize what are those tabs or those things that I was seeing. And I then wanted to learn a framework. I went with AngularJS. Right now, I know that this is not a good decision. It was not a good decision because I'm not sure if you're familiar, but AngularJS is deprecated. People are using Angular 2 and up. So that was not a good decision. Anyway, and the other thing that I decided to learn was a data visualization library. That was D3GS, and actually that was a good decision because through that, I got my very first developer job. And it's a little fun story of how I found my first developer job. So because it's a small one, I'm going to share it with you. As I was learning, I started doing YouTube videos. And in these YouTube videos, I was just showing what I was learning. And it was for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, maybe more, that I was learning only D3GS and I was building small projects. I'm going to show you some of those projects. And everything that I was doing, I was uploading on YouTube. So then someone contacted me and said, okay, I see that you can do this stuff. Do you want, like, we have one small project, do you want to take it? And I told him that I haven't any professional experience. I'm not sure if I can do it. I was very nervous. It was my first time, but yeah, they said it's okay, so we moved on. And that's how I found my first job, just from YouTube videos. Now, what did I build? So, as I said, my first goal was to be a rock star in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I started with HTML and CSS, and for CSS now, everything that you see on the screen is built only with CSS. I think that my first designs are quite simple, okay? But then I started learning more and more, and in the end of this journey, of the CSS journey, I think that the images are quite better. And then I wanted to learn JavaScript, so I started building some small games. This one is a tic-tac-toe game, and the inspiration is coming from FreeCodeCamp. FreeCodeCamp is a free learning source if you want to learn, mostly front-end. And this is another game, the Simon Says game. That were my first attempt with AngularJS, just some small parts and some more stuff, and then with D3GS, the data visualization library. I also started being a little more interested in the design part, because as a front-end developer, especially if you're working in small companies that I used to work, sometimes they don't have dedicated designers, right? If you have worked at a startup as a front-end developer, you know that. So as a front-end developer, sometimes I had to do some design jobs, and I realized that I actually like that part. And okay, now I mentioned some other challenges. Let's take a look on them. I did the 100 days of code. If you check the first date, it's 31 of December. It's New Year's Eve. So other people are out, they are partying, they're drinking beers and stuff. No, I was at home and I was taking part in that challenge. Now, if you look on the third line, I have the daily CSS images. It's 14th of February. This is the Valentine's Day. Guess what I was doing? Forever alone, yay! Okay. Yep, I did a lot of challenges. I like this stuff. I like doing challenges. So yeah, let's move on. Now, as I was doing all of this stuff, people started to asking me, okay, hey, you do all this stuff, but aren't you tired or something? And what inspires you, what motivates you, what makes you moving on? I think that this is something very personal, and I cannot give you like an answer that it will be universal, that it will be the same for everyone that is doing things and building things. For me, I just wanted to improve myself. And I thought that if I build in public, I can do that. I can improve myself. And that's what I did back then, and I still do. I still learn every day. Now, by doing all these challenges, I learned to be more optimistic and grateful for the things that I have done, but for the people that I have near me. Because, you know, sometimes people will say, okay, let's go out for a coffee, for a beer, but you will say, no, I will stick at home and I will read, I will study, I will code or whatever. So it's not easy for other people around you, trust me. I learned to be more optimistic. I learned to believe in myself, and I said, okay, I can do that. Maybe it will take me 2 hours or 3 times, whereas other people may just need 15 minutes, but I will do it. And I believe in the process of learning. And of course, I traveled a lot, which may seem completely irrelevant, like you're talking about coding, how do you connect that with traveling? But because I have started to code, to go to different companies, and these companies weren't in Greece, maybe they were in Germany, maybe they were in the Netherlands, so I started traveling more, and I also started taking part in conferences, so that's how I traveled. And I mentioned that because I really love traveling, and I guess that many people like that. Maybe it's not the best thing to say now that with COVID, you know, but it is what it is. Okay, and now let's change subject a bit. Let's go through the second part of my talk, which is habit formation and hacking time. So how do you find the time to do all those things that you really love doing? Because I'm sure that, okay, all of you probably are working maybe 8 hours per day, okay, maybe more, maybe less, but I'm sure that there are other things outside of your job that you really want to do. And you usually say, okay, if I had time, I would do this and this and this. Yes, you have time. You do have time. We all have 24 hours. Now, the way that we are using those 24 hours, maybe that's the different part. Here is a quote that I really like. It says, I'm not telling you it's going to be easy, but I'm telling you it's going to be worth it. It's not easy. It's not easy to have your job and then going back to home and have to code or study again or do whatever else you have to do. And especially if you have family, that's 10 times more difficult. Okay, let's see some practices. First of all, everyone experiences a resistance. Try to do something good and resistance will be there. Let's say that you're dieting. Try to go to the gym. Netflix will be there. Opening the fridge. A sandwich will be there instead of an apple or a banana. Resistance will be always there, okay? We just have to deal with it and move on. Something that is quite helpful is setting the limits. And what I mean by that is sometimes we have time, like it's the weekend, okay, and we have time. So we will say, okay, I'm going to do that later in the end of the day. Then it comes Sunday, and okay, now I want to go out. Then it comes Sunday night. Okay, now I have to code, now I have to do everything. No, it doesn't work like that. Have a plan in your mind, okay, and try to stick with it. We're going to talk about that a bit later, but try to maximize your time. Again, we will talk about maximizing your time in a bit. All right, now, track progress visually. I feel that this is something very common, but again, not many people are doing it. This is the image that you are seeing is from when I was doing the challenge 100 Days of Code. Sometimes, us people, we are very visual creatures, so we just want to see something, and we don't want to break the chain. If we see that this green tile is indeed green, we will keep moving and try to have this green line. Something, again, which is very helpful, very well known, but not a lot of people are doing it, is keeping a calendar, a to-do list, or whatever suits you best. But really keep that. I find that I am like 10 times better with my time management when I have this to-do list, because I write down everything usually one day before, and I can track my time, I can see what works, I can see what it doesn't work, I can calculate how much I need for everything. And sometimes like people even ask me, okay, should the calendar be online or offline? Whatever, it doesn't matter. If you want to go with a fancy app, go with it. If you want something like pen and paper, go with it. I prefer pen and paper because I can have it always in front of me, but you do whatever suits you best. And write down your long-term goals, not only your to-do list, which is usually just for 1 day or 2 days, but also your long-term goals, and visit those goals once in a while. Not only every New Year's resolution and stuff like that, but actually visit them and see, are you close to that? Are you close in achieving that, or no? Okay. How to form habits? Let's see some more examples. First of all, stay away from toxic environments. And if you're dieting, as I said earlier, don't have cookies near you. If Netflix is always there, okay, maybe you should find something about that as well. If you know that something is distracting you, keep it away. And what distracts us the most is our phones. Like, hands down, is our phones. No. If you want to concentrate on something, first of all, put your phone on silent. Like, really, if somebody really needs you, they can find something else, I don't know, somewhere else to contact you. But have your phone on silent mode, keep the notifications off, log off from certain services if you think that they take off your time. I do that. For example, sometimes I spend too much time on Instagram. So if I have to make something very important, I will log off completely, I will delete the app from my phone, and I would suggest you doing something similar. If you think that you spend too much time on Discord, on Twitter, on Slack, I don't know, whatever you're using, just remove them from your phone, and you will see that you don't need them as much as you think that you need them. So the idea is to make the unwanted behavior difficult to be performed and the behavior that you want easy to be performed. If you want to start coding after your work, so have everything set up, your editor set up, your password set up, have everything set up, because you don't want to get your mind distracted of other small things. Even if they are easy, you don't want that. You just want to sit and start doing things. Okay. Now, some other things that might help you are the bright line rules and the keystone habits. Let's see what's this. The bright line rule sets getting from something general to something specific. As I said earlier, if you have like a very big project, don't just wait from last minute, like Sunday night, to do this project. No, take your time and start it from general, like, okay, I have to build a website. First, I'm going to do the register, then I'm going to do the login, then I'm going to do the profile. Like, as you do at your work, that you have like small tasks, do the same for yourself and for your personal projects. Because I feel that sometimes when we are at work, okay, everything is okay because someone else is taking care of managing, or if you are a manager, you're used to that, you're used to manage other people. But what about yourself? Can you manage yourself? If you can, kudos to you, bravo. But if you can't, like everything that you do on your company, maybe you could do them also in your personal projects. And really try to do that. These are simple advice, but if you actually do them, you will see many changes. Okay. The keystone habit. It leads to the development of multiple good habits. This is an example that I'm going to give you here is with a gym. People that go to the gym, usually they go for a long time because they see the benefits of it. They are kind of used to going and now they don't want to stop. So if you see that coding is good for you or reading is good for you, just keep doing those things and you will see how it will be multiplied, the good effects, how they will be multiplied. Now, the question that, okay, I don't have time, so where do I find the time? As I said, we all have 24 hours. Now, the way that we are using those 24 hours may be different. Let's see some things that you can do to claim back the time. First of all, be ruthless with what you want to do, with what you want to build, and prioritize. Write everything down, see what takes your time. When I say write everything down, I mean write, for example, your day in a paper. I wake up in the morning, I take a coffee, I shower, I eat breakfast. Okay, how much time do you need of these things? And okay, these are things that you have to do, but I'm pretty sure that like more than 50%, when you wake up in the morning, you will take a look at emails and social media. You do that, right? I'm not the only one. I'm not crazy here, right? Okay, thank you. So yeah, do you really need to do that? Because that's a bad habit. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go on Twitter. You don't have to go on Slack. You really don't have to do those things. And I'm pretty sure that you know it. Instead of like spending 10, 20, 30 minutes in those things, maybe you could read a book. Maybe you could read a newspaper. Some things that will help you improve yourself and will make your day better. Now, change only one or two things at a time. You cannot change everything simultaneously. And that's why New Year's resolution never work. Because we write a list, I want to change this and this and this, I will go this and this and this. No, these things actually never happen. We know that, right? Okay, so try to change only one or two things at a time. And if you have achieved those things, then you can move on with your list and then try to change something else and fix something else. But definitely, you cannot do everything simultaneously. Sometimes it's also better to make it so small that you cannot say no. I will give you a personal example here. I'm living on my own, so I have to cook for myself. I don't like cooking, and then I have to do the dishes. I'm terrible with the dishes, so I used to leave them, and you know, the pile was getting bigger and bigger. But then I said, okay, I can't live like that. I have to stop doing that. And okay, this is quite embarrassing. I should have thought that better before I say the example. But anyway, then I said, okay, now every night before I go to sleep, I will actually take 10 minutes of my time and I will do the dishes. And because it's only one person, 10 minutes is enough. And now, because I can do the dishes in 10 minutes, if I have some time left, I will start cleaning the house. So that's how I built that habit. 10 minutes is just 10 minutes. We all have 10 minutes just before we go to sleep or whatever you prefer. But start building small, and from there you can always move on. Sometimes you just have to start. And if it's very small, we say, okay, I can do that. It's not a big deal. The same goes for the gym. Like, if you don't want to go to the gym, say, okay, I will just go there 5 minutes. You maybe think, okay, what can I do in 5 minutes? The point is not what you can do in 5 minutes. The point is only to go. If you think that you will go for 5 minutes, you will go. If you say, okay, I have to go for an hour and do this and this and this, I don't think that you will go. I mean, if you are a beginner. Okay, now some other concepts that you can follow is doing two opposite things at the same time. And this goes if you want to learn a lot of things and you believe that you don't have the time. For example, if you want to learn two coding two coding languages. Don't go, for example, with JavaScript and Python because they are quite similar and your mind cannot process these two things. But if you want to learn JavaScript and Java, I don't know why would someone do that, but let's say you want to learn Java and JavaScript at the same time, this is better because it's two different things. And you can, of course, try other things like coding and yoga and music or whatever you prefer. Something else, like some time concepts, are the Pomodoro technique. Are you familiar with the Pomodoro technique? All right, I see most of you are, and probably more of you are, you just didn't raise your hand. In the Pomodoro technique, you basically go hard, you study hard, you code hard for 20 or 25 minutes, and this 20 or 25 minutes, you don't check your phone, you don't check your emails, and then you take 5 minutes break, and you move on with this circle as many times as you can. The point is that usually our mind can focus for 20-25 minutes, but after that we can't. That's why we set up a timer for that amount of time. Now, some people say that they can concentrate for more, and some people say that they can concentrate for less. The people that say that they can concentrate for more than 20-25 minutes, I'm not sure if I believe you, because a lot of studies show that we actually cannot concentrate for more than time. And another time concept is the Pareto's principle. That's not a concept, it's a principle, but anyway. Are you guys familiar with that? Okay, again, I see some of you are. Nice. In the Pareto's principle, it basically says that 80% of your output is coming from 20% of your input. So 80% of your bugs are coming from 20% of your code. But no, that's not the point. The point is that if you can track what is the output, maybe you can understand how you can work a little bit better to maximize that output. Okay, now let's see some tips that maybe are not so familiar with you, because I know that a lot of things that I said, you probably already know them. Maybe you're not working on them, but you probably already know them. So now let's see some other tips. The first one is keeping a not to-do list. Okay, we talk about the to-do list, but what about the not to-do list? Here you will keep everything that you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to eat ice cream. If you're dieting, you're not supposed to watch Netflix if you have a deadline. You're not supposed to do this or this or this. Write down everything and have this in front of you. I swear you, like it's really, really helpful seeing the things that you're not supposed to do. And analyze your day, what activities take a lot of your time. Again, write them down and really, really analyzing them, like, should you do those stuff? If you should, okay, do them. But if not, remove them. It will take some time to remove them. It's not easy for everyone to remove them completely just in one day. But try to work on that. And last but not least, if you don't have something, imitate it. What I mean by that, okay, I will give you another example. Some people say that they want to learn English, but their families maybe not talk English, and they don't have friends. So what they do is, again, they will go to Discord, Slack, and start talking with people. Just start talking. So they don't have something physically, but they go somewhere that they imitate it. They can find people, they can communicate in English because that's what they want to do. If you, for example, don't have developer friends and you want to talk with someone about coding and stuff like that, you can find an online community. And these days, thank God, we have a lot of online communities for everything. So whatever it is, you can find it, really. You don't have to have it physically near you. Now, another quote that I really like is, great things in business are never done by one person, they are done by a team of people. You're never alone, so as I said earlier, that's why we have the community, that's why you can imitate things. Try to find something that they will keep you, or he or she will keep you. Try to be friends with someone, like we say, gym friends, or at work you can have your partner there. Accountability matters. matters. And that's why those challenges that I mentioned again earlier, they matter. Because sometimes we're afraid that, okay, but what will happen if I don't do that? There is a great possibility that no one will actually notice it. But inside us, we think that, okay, people will notice it, so we should do that. We should definitely do that. And that's why these things work. Connect with people because you want to, not because you have to. Sometimes I see people on LinkedIn that they started to click only faces and names. Why? Is there like any point on that? If it is, of course, go connect with them. And for example, I appreciate when people are connecting with me and they are sending me a message that, hey, I saw you here or you did that, it's nice work. Because I feel that way they connect with me and I can connect with them. In other cases, if they are doing it blindly, I don't know, I see no point. Of course, I have done that. I don't say that I haven't done that. Sometimes we're just curious when we want to connect with someone. But that's not something very helpful. Don't ignore people or situations. Everything can be important. Don't say, I will do that later, I will do that tomorrow. Don't say, I will talk with that guy or that girl tomorrow. No, do that today. Take the opportunity and start doing things now. Not on Monday, not on New Year, now. And just start doing. The more you do, the more you will want to do. It is a cycle. And let's move on to the third part and the last part of my talk, which is dealing with frustration, dealing with stress, dealing with ourselves. Another quote that I really like, it says, it's not the strongest of the pieces that survive, not the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. And the key word here is responsive. You maybe were great at your previous job. You're maybe, a great son, a great daughter, but you should also be responsive. Are you good with your friends? Are you good with your partner? It doesn't mean that you used to be good at something, you will continue being so, unless, of course, you try and you want to be good. Okay, now let's see, dealing with our colleagues. This can be quite tough. Or you may have some problems at your workspace. How do you deal with them? And of course, there are numerous solutions here, but I will talk about some very basic things. See if the problem is you or other people have the same problem as you have as well. You can talk with your manager, but sometimes this can be difficult, or maybe you are the manager. You can talk about with your boss, but I get it, this can be quite hard. Try to have some friends at work that you can speak to them. If all of these things are quite hard for you, then you could try to find ex-colleagues, maybe through LinkedIn, and ask them, like, did you have that problem? Or why did you leave the company? Because maybe you will see that other people have the same issues that you have. And if something is toxic, leave. Like, you don't want to stay there, just leave, and I'm sure that you can find another job and you will be 10 times happier. Now, sometimes people think that they are not smart enough or they are not capable of doing something. No, you are smart and you are great, I'm telling you that. Something that it can help you in those situations is learning how other people start their journey. For example, now you know mine, but there are other journeys as well. And know that coding is hard. Coding is difficult. So if you struggle with it, it's okay. All of us do. And no one was born knowing everything. Don't compare yourself to others. Sometimes you will see people doing something for 30 minutes, and for you it will take 2-3 hours. But it's okay. At least you did it, you learned something, and the next time probably you will do it faster too. Sometimes it's not only about coding, but it's about other things. Think, for example, the first time that you got hired. Do you think that your boss hired you because you were great at coding and you knew everything? Okay, probably no. I'm pretty sure that they hired you because they saw something in you. Maybe it was like your communication skills, maybe your empathetic skills, maybe in general your soft skills. So it's not always about coding and be the best at coding, but let's not forget all this other stuff. Like, for me, one of the most important things is communication. If you're good in communications, you can do a lot of things, but sometimes people kind of forget that. Now, some things that you can do to speed up the learning process is building projects, of course, and these tips are more for beginners. Build projects, not only watching tutorials. If you're watching tutorials, you can try to have them in speed like 1.5 or 2. It will be a little bit faster and maybe you can grasp it. Have an updated portfolio and do some volunteering work if you can't find anything else. But not only for that, like if you want to volunteer, do that. And now something else. Sometimes we have a problem actually with ourselves. Not work, not colleagues, but just ourselves. Don't judge yourself too hard. It's okay to fail. All of us fail. We should fail because if we fail, we know that something isn't working, so we can move on. Really, really, really don't be afraid to fail. And I want to maximize this because I was one of those people that I didn't want to fail. I want to be good at everything, but sometimes I was afraid that, okay, if I don't do that, what's going to happen? No, don't be like Aleph. Do what you have to do, fail, and then move on. From time to time, take breaks. Breaks are important. You're not a machine, you're not a robot, you cannot do everything in just one sit. Take breaks. It's better to loosen up the rules than drop out completely. That's what I said, like it's okay to take breaks. And remember that we all stuck, so don't punish yourself too hard. Some other things is don't act like there is something wrong with you, because guess what? There isn't anything wrong with you. Even if you're coming from a different background, adjust your experience and work, and you will find the solution. A lot of times I see like these days that people maybe don't have a background maybe they don't have a coding background, but they are still doing an amazing job. They are going to boot camps, they are building portfolios so they can move up. If you're coming from marketing or sales or whatever, it's okay, there is plenty of room for you too. And of course, take care of yourself. Like there are some simple things, taking a shower, going to the gym, eating healthy, that they are so simple, but still we are not doing them. And one last thing that I wanted to mention is burnout. Because burnout, it's real. Sometimes I hear people say, oh, burn down. No, it's just a word. It's not for me. Or you will say that he says he has burnout, but I don't believe him. No, I just wanted to have this part right here because I read more and more about it, and I feel that it's something important that we should keep in mind. Burnout is different from stress. So some people are very stressed, and some people are burnt out, and some people may have nothing of this too. So stress is about too much, whereas burnout is not enough. If we are stressed, maybe we have a lot of work to do, but if we manage to do this work, we are happy, okay, yeah. If we are burned out, first of all, we cannot do that job, or we are doing it very slowly, whereas we used to do it quicker. And if we finally complete that job, we are not happy. We are not happy with ourselves. We are not happy with the work that we did. So there is a big difference between stress and burnout. Maybe if you are burned out, you also have stress, but usually there is a difference. Okay, and some things that you can do. This called, I think, the 3R method, because it's recognize, reverse, and resilience. For recognize, of course, watch the warning signs of burnout, and probably you are familiar with those things. If you're starting feeling tired, if you have scheduled completely your sleeping schedule, if you're doing things out of normal, if you're feeling tired all the time, you can recognize those things in yourself. and reverse, like try to undo the damage. That's not very easy, but there are some tactics there. And resilience. Some tips here are to turn to other people, turn to family, turn to colleagues. I know that sometimes it's hard to talk with other people, especially about personal things, but that's why you have your family, that's why you have your friends or your partners. Don't be afraid to talk to them. And also reframe the way you look at work. Try to find balance. Again, sometimes we feel that our work is the most important thing, and without work, we are lost. No, try to find other things. Instead of coding, instead of reading, instead of studying, there are a lot of things. I would suggest you to go out, maybe in the nature, in the woods, in the sea. Try to go somewhere else and do something that it's not coding, it's not work related. Reevaluate your priorities, what is most important for you. Is work more important or your health? And I'm sure that you know the answer to this question. Make exercise a priority, and it's been like from research, it has been shown that exercise can help a lot. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but at least if you're exercising, I don't know all the technical parts, I cannot explain them very well in English, but exercise helps a lot in these situations. And maybe you could support your mood and energy levels with a healthy diet. Again, sometimes we think that we have too much work and we are not going to cook, we're just going to order something from out, and yeah, but try to stick to a healthy diet. I'm not saying it's easy, or I'm not saying that I do this stuff, so that's why I say to you to do them. I'm just trying to give you some advices. All right, that was it for me. I hope that you liked my presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me either now or later. I will be somewhere here. Feel free to connect with me on social media. And thank you very, very much